Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. As you can see, it is a winter wonderland out here. So today we're going to be looking for deer sign in the snow, looking for tracks, looking for things like that. As you can see, we already have a ton of different animal tracks, and there have been no human footprints out here. So all these are made by animals, and so I'll point out a few specific ones when I see them. Now it's easiest to see whenever you have a relatively flat area with not a ton of tall grass. It's harder to see it in that stuff than it is in here. So we can already see a ton of different animals. And so we can see here that they're taking this path along here. So now I know, same thing over here, that this is a little corridor or a funnel that they walk / go through. See a lot of deer tracks here. Like, even though it's melted, you can just tell that's the shape of them. There we go again, that one's iced over. And so we can just see here they're funneling through. So these are where their paths are. Here we go, here's more that lead closer to my stand. I actually have a decent amount here. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's blood or what. Looks like we have some coyote tracks right there. Right there. And here we go again. Straight up deer tracks. Here that doesn't seem to have melted as bad. Let's see if we have any leading. Here's my trail camera. And so you can see you have like a lot of small animals, coyotes and such, but also a few deer tracks that are leading like straight up my stand, which is right there. I've thought for a long time that this would be a good path for them to walk along. So you can see there's a ton of small game. So some deer tracks here and some more like little coyote tracks. It looks like maybe a fox, something like that. But just a ton of tracks, which means this is definitely a pathway that they are using a lot. Now I'm actually tasked with replacing the batteries in here. All loaded up, ready to go again. Perfect, now that the batteries are replaced, I can go back to looking for more sign. Again, I'm really happy with all the tracks I'm seeing through here, because this just means that this is a main thoroughfare. My stand is right there, so any deer that walks through here is definitely in range. This looks like a nice buck rub. Right there, some tracks leading right next to it. There we go, more tracks. So they're definitely coming from down there, right next to that buck rub. So right now I'm just following this trail and seeing exactly where it goes. It's like kind of splits off, so if you went that way, if you go this way. Well, I got a pretty good idea of the different sign and the tracks that are going through here, and a lot of it just confirmed what I'd already thought. So a lot of the routes and trails that I saw were already exactly in the corridors and things that I strategically placed my stand around, so no real big surprises, which is good because I didn't want to be surprised. But it's nice to see just exactly where the tracks are, especially considering snow fell 2 days ago, which means that it's, you know, extremely fresh. Whereas sometimes you see a buck rub and you don't know if it's from the early months or it's just a few days old. But this is why it's so important to get out here this time of year, especially when it snows, because you know, the way I like to think about it is hunting is a year-round sport, even though you're not actually harvesting, except for, you know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks out of the year, depending on if you archery hunt, gun hunt, do both, things like that. I really think it's interesting how they actually use this road, like, more than I would have expected them to. Like, there is a very clear trail where they've been using this road. Like, now this isn't a surprise necessarily, but just more tracks than I thought I might see. Now this is a good sign. These tracks coming out of here are exactly what I thought might happen. I thought they might have some cover or some bedding areas in these fields here because the cover is just so thick. Well, there's certainly no lack of animals out here. Wildlife in general, deer, turkey, coyotes, foxes. I mean, everything. I've seen all kinds of things out here. Certainly not a lack of squirrels. They always seem to be chattering at me. Also, this is a bit random, but if it is snowing and it's still hunting season where you guys are, get out there and hunt. It is a great time of year to hunt, especially with snow on the ground. At least when I went on Saturday, which I had a recent video come out of me hunting in the snow. It was actually really productive. I'll link it right up there. But the deer were moving like crazy. I saw 5 does, 1 little buck. I mean, he was a decent 8-point, but just nothing huge. And considering the time of year, it's already after firearm season, so they've already been all shot up and way post rut now. So you'd think the conditions wouldn't be great, but for whatever reason, it seems like if you can get a cold front and some snow on the ground, always great conditions to hunt. Especially here in Missouri, we usually don't get snow this early in the year. We got it on the last few days of November this year, which is really early, which made it really good hunting conditions. Now, I didn't harvest anything just because I'm looking for one massive buck. He's a freaking giant, but hopefully we'll get him next year. The odds of getting him this year are pretty low, just because I think old bucks get really, really smart, and I've only seen them on camera at night now, so it's kind of what happens this time of year. But next year, I know his pattern, and I'll feel pretty confident about him. Whew, it is none too warm out. Nice work, 4-wheel drive. I'm proud of you. RAV4's making light work of this snow.